Hi everybody, welcome back to Wellness with Sophie. I am excited today. I'm going to take you through my daily Gua Sha tutorial. It's funny, when I first started this channel, probably over a year ago now, I remember that was one of the biggest requests I had. I think I posted a very simple video about a Gua Sha and everyone was like, I want to know what you do and I want to know how you apply it and when is your how-to video of your Gua Sha coming out? And here I am probably a year later, now providing you with this. But there's so much to share on this channel. And it's all about what I feel on the day. I'm all about intention. So if I feel like today is the day to show you my Gua Sha routine, then this is what I'm going to do today. So it's really about a feeling as well as servicing you, because that's a big reason as to why I have this channel as well. So Gua Shas come in many shapes and sizes. I use this one. It's from a brand in the UK. I can link it below if anybody's interested. But it's a jade Gua Sha, so you have the energy of the jade and the stone as well. One thing I will say, and I did say this on my earlier video, is looking after your Gua Sha is so important. First of all, hygiene. Please wash it directly after you use it with hot soapy water and dry it with a towel or a tissue. And then I always wash it before I use it as well, just because you don't want any bacteria from your previous session accidentally being on the Gua Sha still, and you don't want it going back onto your skin. I will also say that it's common that sometimes these get dropped, they slip out of your fingertips, especially if you're not used to working with tools. So if you notice any scratches, any little chips, please replace it, because that's not going to be helpful for your skin. Even if you think you can't feel it, the microaggression that it might be causing on your skin is not going to be beneficial long term. So go ahead and replace it as well. I don't necessarily with the stone ones, I don't warm or cool. You could do that with the metal ones out there, but in general I feel the stone ones are a little bit softer on the skin, so that would just be my personal preference. But there's lots of different variations out there, and it's really down to you to find the one that works best for you. Now what I will say with Gua Sha is that you do need a little bit of slip on your skin. I'm just going to put a little bit of an oil serum on my skin now. It's not about loading your skin up with anything too greasy, because you almost don't want too much slip, because you don't want your Gua Sha to feel super slippery or to accidentally move on the skin without you actually wanting to do that. But a little bit of slip is always advised, and just make sure that you get really comfortable holding your Gua Sha as well. Now what I generally do, and I actually did this morning, like I said, I'm using this with an oil-based serum at the moment, but this morning I actually used it with my cleansing balm, because obviously that's a super slippery product to use it with, but because I'm very comfortable with holding this, I generally will use it with my cleansing balm, and it always feels really nice to do it first thing in the morning. Now what I will advise you to do first is always to work on your neck, just to sort of drain downwards. Now, as you can see, I'm using this longest part of my Gua Sha here, and I'm starting behind the ear, and I'm just tracing down to behind my collarbone. We have a really important lymph node here, so it's really nice to be able to drain down. Remember, I probably said it in previous videos, and if not, then our lymphatic system doesn't have a pump like the heart, so it's really important that we're helping the lymphatic system flow and getting those toxins out of our skin, and it will help us with radiance, it will help us with just looking healthier, getting fresh nutrients to our cells for renewal, but it will also help with depuffing the face and just helping us feel a little bit more sculpted and a little bit more snatched, which I think everybody's looking for on a daily basis. My biggest tip, and I say this with everything, my biggest tip is light pressure. Lymphatic drainage movements should never be medium, light to medium. They should always be super light. So what I'm doing here is I'm starting lymphatic, and I am just allowing the tool to really use the weight of the tool to drain down. I'm not adding any additional pressure. I'm also not like this. I'm not, at an angle on the skin. I'm as flat as can be, probably a 15-degree angle, very, very small. And I'm just allowing that Gua Sha to work its way down. Okay, so now everything's flowing a little bit better. I'm going to use this end And I'm just going to tuck it into my chin. Again, I'm not like this. I'm not using it really vertical. I'm actually laying it quite flat on the skin, and I'm gliding out to my ear, and then I'm going to tuck it behind and go all the way down. Let's do that a couple of times. Light pressure. All of this at the moment is lymphatic. Sometimes if I'm feeling like particularly puffy under the skin, I'll use this end, and I'll just, under the skin, I mean under the chin, and I will just help to like drain this fluid out a little bit more. I'm not putting a lot of pressure. Really light. I'll gradually get bigger and bigger as I work outwards. When I get to the ear, I'm going to tuck everything behind and underneath, flatten it out, drain down. You can do a few little pumps here if you want to, or you can do them with your fingertips as well, whichever you prefer. I'm going to stick with this longer edge here, and I'm going to lay it. This size is like perfect on my face, so it's sometimes nice to find a gua sha that fits your face really nicely as well. And it's sort of laying in my nasolabial marionette line, sides of the nose, and I'm keeping it very flat again, light pressure, just to allow the weight of the gua sha to work. And I'm going to glide out, down, and down. Okay, this might take a few passes to sort of get comfortable. You know, I've been doing this for years, so for me, I make it look very easy. I know that, but it wasn't easy in the beginning. If you want to do a couple of passes on your cheek first, you could. I'm going to do 3, 1, 2, 3, and then on that last one, drain all the way down. And you could start to see already, I mean, here you can start to see a little bit more shape. Here you can see a difference between the two sides. I always find it amazing doing this. Even though I've been doing it for so long, I'm always so impressed by the results. And I guess that's why I continue to do it. On my eye area, I'll generally take this and I will just work up that muscle on top first. So notice how I'm supporting here, just so I've got a bit of stability. What's really nice is you have a little muscle here that like is a bit of a fan. So you can also take this area of the tool and just stretch this muscle out. I have quite a deep glabella line here, or a Levin's line. So this is really going to help just to stretch that out. And as I take over the brow as well, it's going to continue to stretch. So I'm working quite a bit above the eye here. I'm not working on the eyelid in any way. You can take your gua sha extremely lightly and work in and underneath the eye. And I say extremely lightly is because obviously your eye is one of your most delicate areas. But you do have a little lymphatic node that sits right in the corner of between your eye and your nose, the bridge of your nose. So to drain inwards, if you suffer with puffy eyes, that can be really beneficial, but be very gentle. And then focus on working outwards. I really just try to follow the shape of the eyebrow, which is usually the shape of the muscle in this area as well. And then lastly, I'm going to use my gua sha. Again, I'm quite flat here. If you can see, I'm not like this. I'm very flat. And I'm going to work on this muscle here, this frontalis muscle. These muscles work up from your brow all the way into the back of your head, and they continue into your hair as well. So it's really nice if your concern is your like lines on your forehead area. So it's a really nice way to stretch them out and just to work that muscle. So it's a little bit more muscular here, so I'm working with a little bit more pressure. But then I'm going to go back to lymphatic. I'm going to use my tool like this, or you can use it like this, which is sometimes a bit easier to control. And I'm going to glide out to temple. So we're going to do 3 passes, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to glide that all the way down the perimeter of the face, down the neck. Okay, I'm going to come back to my eye, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to do the same, really light, down, back to the cheek area, 1, 2, 3, and guide all the way down. Sometimes what I'll do, obviously it really depends on the day, you can already see here that this is a lot more visible than this area already. But what I could do a little bit more is work a bit more muscular. So I'm just gonna, in that muscle, almost like smooth out that nasolabial fold. And what's really nice again, that this sits in the whole nasolabial marionette. So I'm really working on all of those areas together. So although I'm muscular now and I'm being a little bit more intentional with my pressure, it's like more of a light to medium, I'm still not too firm. And I've still got that little bit of slip from the product. And then on the last pass, I'm gonna do 3 long ones, more lymphatic this time. I'm gonna go back to this area, work up the jawline, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm gonna do 3 final, 1, 2, 3. And you can see the difference in your face straight away. And obviously I'm taking you through that and guiding you through. When I do it myself, I do it a little bit quicker, so it doesn't have to take a long time. That probably took us like a couple of minutes there, but it can be a little bit quicker. I'm very sorry if you can hear my dog in the background. You know, they love to make noise right as you're filming your videos. Otherwise they're quiet the whole day. But yeah, it doesn't have to take you a lot of time. I also love to just help this even further before and after. I love to sort of scissor my ears a little bit and just do some very gentle circles. You can also do some gentle pumping, only because you have some key lymph nodes there, so that's going to really help to get rid of excess fluids even further. Like I said, right behind the collarbone here, and you'll just notice everything just looks a little bit more snatched, a little bit more sculpted, lifted. I know that hereditary in terms of what I see on my mum. She has lost a lot of, no offense mum, but lost a lot of shape, more so in her jowls. So this is an area that I'm very aware of, because I know it's probably likely going to be passed down to me, but that's an area that I need to work on. So all of these movements will really help to keep everything sculpted as well, and just make sure that I feel my best possible self each and every day, and I can age gracefully. You know, aging is a blessing. Aging is something that we all go through. But if there are small things on a daily basis in terms of habits that I can do to, you know, age gracefully and help you too as well, then that's absolutely my mission, is to serve you and help you do that. So I hope that you find the right gua sha for you. I hope that you follow along with this tutorial. Obviously, after you've done one side, you would repeat it on the other side, and you'll notice your face will feel more alive. It will feel more energized. There's a flow of energy, the flow of blood, the flow of lymphatic. So I hope you use this as often as possible. You could do this every day. It's very gentle, but you could also just implement it a couple of times a week, and you will definitely reap benefits from doing that as well. So I hope you enjoy using your gua sha in a more intentional way. I will see you in the next one, and thank you for tuning in to Wellness with Sophie. See you soon.